Hello again, and welcome to the new year. I thought I would start by visiting my roses again. And if you will remember, last year I worked in this rose book, and I thought I would share this with you now and let you know why I'm making a change. Let's see, this is a heavy puppy. Let's get to this first one. You will remember that one from last year. Great fun, different colors, and I tried to play up some of the tiniest bits of red that I saw in here in my background, and this was definitely a fun project. My next one was this single spread in which I did a black gesso background for the first time. The placement of the roses led to me adding these corners in gilt and these rose stencils, of course, in my Jo Sonia gold that I've been using for years and still love so very much. This double spread was a challenge because this was so voluptuous and so full. I only needed to use some of my stencils for the background, and in order to pop this forward, I added some collage bits on top, but I also cut out some of these roses, and I added a piece of paper onto the back so that I could watercolor some of these roses as a different addition to this page. Great fun, and something that I must remember to try doing more of. Using this as a background was, well, it was just delicious. This was my very favorite, and at this point I started using my palette knife for background, and well, I fell in love with the process. This page had the other part of this complete rose, so I cut it out and added some background concept and a gilded edge to this one. And as you can see, I worked on handling my El Cheapo palette knife, but there again, learning by doing. So this one, I just have to say, is kind of close to my heart. This next one is another single spread, and when I just turned this page, I was able to feel that I had used clear gesso on it, but I used the Liquitex because I can feel the roughness on the background. But this is another one that I felt very good about. The background particularly came out very nice. These two roses are collaged on top of the one that was on the page. Now, let me explain why I have decided to come back to this book, but not with great frequency, because I've examined these pages again and thought about them, and I've browsed through this book again, and certainly there are endless amounts of rose deliciousness in this book. However, I decided that I would use, let me plop this big baby on the floor. I decided to go to my big journal and use some of the roses that were from that book as collage. I want to be more free to enjoy the beauty of these roses the way I want to apply them to the page, the way I can play as I wish to on the background and not have to work around the placement of the rose that the authors put, the photographers put into their book. So as you can see, I fussy cut these two, and now I'm thinking background before I get back to the collage step. So I'm going to also plop these to the side. In fact, I'm going to put them down on top of the book, and here we are. One of my goals for this lesson is going to be using, there's another much loved page, is going to be using my acrylics and color mixing, because I want to get as close as I can to some of the colors in the roses that I have picked. Now, in order to do that, I'm going to be using my birthday present to myself, this mixing palette in gray, because from what information I have been reading and gleaning from watching YouTube, this gives a more true picture of what exactly it is that colors that you are getting. So, after having looked closely at, well, I think I better take one of those back up off the floor. Yes. Okay, I'll put it up out of the way for the moment. I want to try to use some of these colors in my background, but even before that, I want to banish some of the whiteness, and I'm going to use my old parchment ceram coat, because it works quite nicely with that one color that I see way down at the base of this rose. And then I'm going to try mixing with my ceram coat cardinal red, salmon, and my Empire Gold. My goodness, my hand just seems to go to this one for some reason. But before we begin that mixing, I want to add some background here. So I'm going to need a good bit of Empire Gold, my oldie but goodie brush, and I want to water this paint down quite a bit, and this brush is so large that I should be able to water this paint down quite nicely just using the water in the brush. So I'm going to be spreading on different varieties of shades of old parchment. And I know that you just don't need to watch me cover these large pieces of paper, and this Strathmore journal will be able to handle whatever I throw at it. But I'm going to finish doing this, and I will be back. While I was waiting for paint to dry, I decided to use one of my oblongs, and I found this one. I haven't used it in ages, and I think this will be a nice start for background on this page. So, I'm going to play up the green in those beautiful green in those leaves, and my very favorite dark forest green ceram coat is going to be the darker, and I just purchased forest green because I just can't get enough of this color, and I thought this one would work well with it. I think I'm going to try to put the lighter forest green down towards the center and finish up on the edges with the dark forest green. Let's see what happens. Oh my, what a pretty color. This one and my Empire Gold, my ceram coat, seem to be where my hand falls lately. Yeah, this one is just... Let's see what happens with this new one now. Fingers crossed. It might be a little light. I might have to do a little mix. Let's look. Oh no, nothing light about that one. Very nice. Very nice. I feel like I'm mowing the lawn right down the middle here. Right, now back up we go with the dark. Let me take a peek. Yes, vaguely. Okay. I'm wondering, in reality, whether these might be a little bit too close, but we shall see. Absolutely must hold this down while I'm peeking. Okay. Thin outline shapes don't always take the way they should, so let's see what's happening up there. Ah, yes. Alrighty. There is a difference, but it's kind of vague. I'll remember that they're rather close. Well, I'm going to do one more over here, and I'll be back. All right, I'm going to try now to make some colors using my old parchment my Empire Gold, Salmon, and Cardinal Red. Let's get some of these together out here. That might do for this section. Now let's bring some salmon out here and calm it down a little bit. A little bit more yellow. All righty. Let's see what we have now. Better. And then need some red that has been calmed down. Various shades here. Yes, let's see. I think the salmon is really going to do it for this red. I don't know why I think so, but I think I can do that here. Maybe a little yellow. Let's see where we are. Oh, my, 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 my. Good luck was had. Now I'm going to work on, sorry about that. I'm going to work on the background, and I'm going to use this paper from the paper section, I think, at A.C. Moore. And I've had good luck with these cut papers, because when you add acrylic to them, they just become thicker and stronger. So, I think I'll use this side. Why? Because I think this would interfere too much with what I'm seeing. Now, I'm going to just play and add all around. I know that the rose, big one, will be up in here, but that doesn't make any difference. I'm still going to just have fun. On this side, I'm going to have a lot more fun, but I'm going to warm up on this side. I think I'll use this corner bit up here because it's here. And let's have a little of this in the center. A little more of the darker as we work our way down. Maybe a little bit of the red around the outside. Let's do some blending here. Maybe a little of this around up in here. Why not? Let's see what we have. Not too bad. And I think I'll move this one over to here. And I'm working kind of in this area. start with a little darker yellow at the center this time. And just a touch of the lighter one around the top. Yes. Okay, some salmon around here. Some reddish added in. And a little serious red now, right over here. It might be covered up by the stencil, but that's okay. We can do that. Let's see what we have. Right. Let's have this smaller one. Yes. Let's have this smaller one right in here. And why not? Now, how will we do this one? Maybe salmon-y yellow towards the center on this one. Lighter for a while. More of this combination in here. More of this one here. And some of that right there. Whoops, a little more. There we go. Let's see if it's soft enough. Okay. As I said, fun, fun, fun. Okay, I'm going to go down the side here. I think I'll use some of what they gave me for the side. Why not? Where is this one? Right here. Right here. Deciding it's right there. Yes. And some more of that one. And the rest is going to be this one. Some more down here. I think I like that. Sorry about that, I'm starting to talk to myself. Running out of paint. Guess I'm going to have to go back to the well. Let's see where we are again. All right. Going to do one on the center over here. I hope I have enough juice left to do it. And I have to be careful because I want to try to stay away from the oblongs. Go up off the page. Okay, if I put my fingers there, it might do. Fingers crossed. Whoops. No, I guess I'm not going to do anything until I get to do this over again. This is serious fun. Wowie. I'm liking this. Now, these colors, of course, will not be the same, and that's a good thing. We're trying to do flowers. They wouldn't be, would they? Okay. Back to that one, and then this one. And some of the light. Okay. And salmon and the red. A little yellow. There we go. All right. Okay. Pay attention here. Don't start getting pounce crazy. Let's see what I'm doing, or trying to do. I think we'll just have to declare that one. Alrighty now, I'm going to finish down the center and up here, and it's going to be more of the same, and I'll be back. Well, here it is, for better or for worse. I'm going to clean up this paint, and I'm going to be getting out my dark forest green and have to add some leaves to the background, and then I'll see where we are. My muse has got her arms crossed, so I'm a little worried, but we'll see what happens. Thank heavens for my cleanup book. Down we go. Paper is so deliciously old and soft that it's oops, up here I can add. There we go. Anything else juicy? Yes, right there. And right there. Done. Started to peel up the front. Goodness, it's paper from the 30s. It started to peel up the front. Oh, that's okay. Now, I'm going to clean up, dry this, and I'll be back plopping some leaves. Okay, forest green, my newer one. And a little bit of the old parchment background color, just a touch. I have my 3/4 inch low Cornell angular brush, and let's see what we can do to add some leaves to this puppy. Right. Now, in some cases, I'm going to run this right off the page. And here we go. I believe I'm going to have to stand up to make this work the way it's supposed to. Yes. Now, where are we? Well, that did help the situation. Now let's move over up here. Well, I'm going to be swinging this book around and I don't want to make you sick, so I'll be back when I have the basic leaves on. Well, here I am. My muse hasn't got her arms crossed anymore, but she's frowning. So I'm going to stop, I'm going to let this air dry, and I'm going to give this a good think. My. I wonder if painted myself into a corner. We'll see. That's part of the fun of art. I'll be back. My muse and I have had a meeting of the minds, finally, and I've decided to go back to tried and true because this area around the flowers and the leaves needs to be settled down into the page. So I'm going to use my Derwent Inktense. I'm going to use Ionian Green and Light Olive. And I'm going to, as usual, thin it down with a combination of gesso and water. This is a go-to of mine, and since it has been working for me, I'm not going to fix that if it isn't broken. So, just a little bit of gesso. And I'm going to begin here with my pencil, where I'm going to be wanting to have the bit of shadow effect. Alrighty, and in here, and over here. If I need to add any more, I can. Alright, and along here. And let's see about a brown for that stem. And here we go. Work in some shadow effect and spread it out a little bit. Oops. And as you start to do this, you'll get the feel for how much is too much water or gesso. Learning by doing. That's what our art is all about. Now that I've started it and I want to draw it out a little bit more, I will use just water to thin it out and do that. As you can see, this does put a make-believe kind of shadow effect and sinks the collage down onto the page a little bit. Whoops, I need a little brown there. Brown working here and here and here. There we go. Now I want to run this out a little bit more. Where was I? Oh yes. This area between the leaves would naturally be little bit darker. So that's what I'm trying to take care of now. But in this area next to the brown stem might have a little bit of a brown tinge to it. Now I'm not too tickled about this, so I'm going to try to soften it before it dries out completely. Let's see if I can. Well, just a little bit. Okay, like now. Up the side of this stem. The effect is different when you don't add the gesso. There's something about adding the gesso that really seems to work for me. But that would be up to you. You might prefer this effect without that more opaque look. Alrighty, now let's try to find a red that suits me. Excuse me, going to have a little coughing session. I'll be right back. Alrighty, I'm going to try chili red for around there. Let's see if I pick the right one. Oh yes, I think I'm quite happy with that. Let me draw that out a little bit more while it's still wet enough to do it. That's part of the learning curve here, because as you know, when Inktense dries, it's permanent. So you have to kind of strike while the iron is hot here. If you work very carefully, you can usually get the edge to disappear so that you don't have a hard line. There again, I've done a lot of it so that I have a feel for it. And the only way to get that feel is to do it. If you don't like what you have, you just talk to it with your gesso. And you know, gesso is wonderful for eliminating a multitude of sins. When I reach into an indentation, I usually like to try to feather it out a little bit. And if the area is kind of a straight line, I just go with it. But here, I'll add a little extra. And now, when I finish this large rose, I'm going to go over and do the exact same thing on the other piece of collage, but I'm not going to inflict that on you because I don't want this tutorial to last for the rest of your natural life. Okay, let's see if we can soften this out. Sometimes it takes a bit of space to do it. I don't mind that. That's completely up to your particular taste. I use the absolute minimum of water in the brush. I just put the tiniest little tip of the brush into the water so that it wicks up a little bit, and then I thin out the gesso, and there it goes. Now without gesso, this would definitely be much more vibrant and a lot less opaque. Let's move this out a little bit with just a watery brush, very little gesso left in it. When two different colors meet like this, I just kind of tease them together a little bit because one of them will be dry and permanent. So I kind of drag this red on top of that green a little bit and drag it out. And let's have a look. Yes, I feel that the edges are a bit softened. I'm particularly tickled with the way the flower looks. So I'm going to work over here and I'll be back. Well, my muse has told me that I need to stop, and I'm going to, with this last little touch. Now these dimensional gold are going to keep their high dimension if I leave this book open for about 3 days and then put a piece of wax paper between the pages so that they don't flatten out. If you are not too familiar with this product, it's Viva Perlin Pen in gold, and if you'll notice, this is the effect that you can keep if you're careful and don't smudge them and let them dry naturally. And they certainly do add a dimensional touch to the page. So, I've also, of course, edged my page with my olive green StazOn because it's what I do. For some reason, I'm not happy unless there is some sort of a frame on the page, no matter how minuscule it might seem. But it makes me happy to do, so I do it. This page has been quite a challenge, and I hope that you have enjoyed the journey with me. You still can see the under watered down watercolor. Sorry, it's not watercolor. It almost looks it though, but it is acrylic paint, my Ceram coat, my many colored stencils, and there you can see the dimensional gold dots at the tip of the added on leaves. And here's our big collage rose with the Inktense gesso and water added in order to blend it in as a shadow. More of the dots. This page has many more of the stencils on it because of that empty space. I didn't seem to be happy with that empty space, so here we have the golden pearls effect, and I do hope that you have enjoyed watching this tutorial. If you have, I would appreciate a thumbs up, sharing with a friend, leaving me a comment, and I certainly do try to answer them. And if you would, I would appreciate it if you would subscribe to my channel. I will have a picture of this finished piece on my blog so that if any of you would like to inspect it more closely, I think you probably will be able to do it there. This has been great fun. Please join me again in my studio. Bye now.